of the ping pong between this House and the Senate. Each House wanting to be the anchor for the fund. We also had some dysfunctional activities in the national government on this fund. It was originally meant to benefit counties that were presumed and believed to be marginalized, particularly in the northern Kenya. Eventually, it was decided by this House and the Senate and the CRA that the fund will be applied to pockets of marginalization in all counties of the country as they were identified. In fact, the area of focus became the sublocation. So they have spread the money so thin across the country, from Nairobi to Mandera, from Nairobi to Turkana, from Nairobi to Homa Bay to Migori, to everywhere. So now that the fund is available and you have only 10 years to go, I want to encourage this House, because this is a national government fund, to ensure that once this bill is passed and ascended through, you have this money go to the ground to benefit the marginalized people. You also know that under the Constitution, and Senior Amolo can bear me in this, we defined which areas of intervention this fund was to go to. It was not to go to anything and everything. But I get the impression that it has now been twiddled down to go to anything and everything, which again, as a House, you have a duty to ensure that marginalization means marginalization, and the marginalized means the marginalized, and not everybody else. Thank you, Carol. On the same issue, yes, Junet?
Mr. Speaker, this is a very important bill, as you said, and it's a very important bill that many Kenyans have been waiting for. But Mr. Speaker, now that we are seized of the bill, I want to urge the House to look at this bill critically. Mr. Speaker, as you've just alluded to, the way they have crafted the manner in which the money is supposed to be shared, Mr. Speaker, is really shocking. I don't know whether it has come to your attention, whether you have seen. Even sublocations that will not receive rain for 2 months qualify to be marginalized, Mr. Speaker. Some of them are inside Nairobi here. I don't know how a sublocation in Nairobi can be marginalized, Mr. Speaker. It is really shocking. Those people who did that division, how to divide the money, Mr. Speaker, how can you be marginalized in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, of all places? You can be hungry in Nairobi and you need food, stipend and such things. But in the sense of marginalization, you can't be marginalized in Nairobi. So, Mr. Speaker, there was a sinister motive. Actually, what caused the delay for the last 10 years, there were people who have refused to let go of that money, Mr. Speaker. And they know themselves. I don't need to mention names on the floor of the House. They refused to let go. Mr. Speaker, when this country got the new constitution and went to the devolved system, Mr. Speaker, people realized that now that there is equitable revenue share, it was in the vision of the makers of the constitution that those people who will not get enough revenue in the equitable sharing, this equalization fund can be used to uplift their standards, Mr. Speaker. It was an intervention fund. It was not an entitled fund. Now people are turning it to a fund that is entitled to everyone. Mr. Speaker, I just want to put on record that the way it was being done was wrong, and the House must look at it this time fresh, Mr. Speaker. And then the people who deserve it must get it, Mr. Speaker. I'm told even Githunguri has been listed as a marginalized place. There's nothing like that.
Order, honorable members. We rarely open a message from the other House for debate.